hearing aid dispensing facility nationwide, where patients can be tested and treated to recover from their hearing loss. Fitted with latest generation equipment, our doctors can provide healthcare assistance for eyes, ears, nose, and throat. Common diseases like glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy can be diagnosed and followed up for fast and correct treatment. Make your appointment with the eye or ear, nose, and throat ENT specialist today to relieve any pain you might be feeling, as consultants are available daily. Contact us for more information. Visit us at Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day of the week, or call us on 503-4411 or 7767-123. Medicalia, premium care, personal touch.
You are watching QTV this morning. We are back again on another edition. It's Tuesday, the 20th of September 2022.
It is indeed.
Yes, absolutely. So it's another edition, and I am with my colleague Lolly M. Kamara. Lolly, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balde. It's another beautiful Tuesday.
You're looking good. You're looking beautiful.
Really?
Yes.
Ah, thank you.
I mean, it is an abomination in some communities to tell a married wife you are beautiful.
Well, I think it's just a compliment you give it.
A married wife.
A married woman.
You mean
yeah.
a married woman?
Yes.
A married woman.
A married woman is a
To
wife.
tell a married woman that you are beautiful.
Which communities are these? I think you just make this stuff up.
Well, even in our community, even in
where he comes from,
in our society.
So you want to create an abomination then, because you're claiming in our society and yet you've just done it.
Well, that's the case here. I mean, it's wrong to tell a married woman that you are beautiful. I mean, I can't understand. Even if you say that, people will tell you, you cannot tell someone's wife is beautiful.
Can you?
This is not your first time of hearing it.
No, it is not my first time hearing
telling people's wife, oh wow, you're beautiful, look at you.
But what about the opposite? Can you tell a married woman that she's ugly? Is that an abomination?
Well, you don't
is that allowed?
If you cannot compliment her, you can't tell her she's ugly.
Okay.
Because if she's ugly to you, she's not ugly for her husband.
Definitely. So I'll take this as a compliment.
You take the compliment.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Balde. I feel good to be here and to share the platform with my boss, Mr. Adi.
It's a pleasure always to be invited, to be indulged on this platform. And it's always a pleasure. I enjoy almost every aspect of it.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Today on the program, we'll be doing the newspaper review. And of course, from the newspaper review, before the newspaper review, we have the African proverb.
As usual.
It's a very interesting African proverb today. And of course, the newspaper review will follow. Then we'll be talking to Future in Our Hands. I mean, Future in Our Hands is an organization that has been in existence in the Gambia for a very, very long time. I grew up remembering, hearing their name.
Okay.
And we'll be having Cherno Sise, who will be here to talk to us the work they do. And of course, on social issues, we'll be talking to Ibrahima Jallow, president of the Gambia Livestock Owners Association, on the disease that is killing most of these cattle in the Gambia. I saw it on QTV News.
The lumpy skin disease.
It is scary, Mr. Ade. I mean, if you see the manner in which it does to these cattle, it's really crazy.
It looks pretty horrible, indeed. Yes.
Yeah, so we'll be talking to...
I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Ibrahima Jallow, and of course, we'll be having Click segment. I don't know why I forgot putting the click here.
I didn't see Click.
Is
it Skengman Sweezy or Skengman someone else?
Skengman Sweezy is coming today.
Okay.
So we'll be playing a video. I mean, Skengman now, his schedule is so busy to an extent that he cannot come to the studio anymore.
Maybe we should change his name to Skengman Busy.
Skengman Busy.
Perfect.
Yes, he does his recordings now outside and send them to us, play them. Yeah, so Lloyd will start with the African proverb.
Nice. An army of sheep led by a lion will defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. That's the African proverb for you.
An army of sheep led by a lion will defeat an army of lions led by a sheep.
So, Mr. Ade, you will open the floor.
Can you imagine that?
Yes.
I cannot imagine that.
No, this is obviously talking about leadership. And I think, I'm not sure which country this comes from, but I think it's placing too great a burden on leaders that if you think about it logically, let's imagine there's a battle scene and there's 100 sheep and there's one lion leading them, and they're going into battle against 100 lions who are led by a sheep. Who do you think is going to eat whom? Huh?
The lion.
Despite the leader.
Definitely.
So this is about telling you that it's saying that, you know, great leadership is almost everything. And that cannot be true. You know, a great leader also has to have great team as well.
Sure.
And if you're a lion, your 100 sheep will not eat the 100 lions. It will be the other way around. So no, I mean, if you took it in the literal sense, but if you take it in the sort of broader sense about leadership, you know, just because you're a good leader, you always have to have a good team. We've seen people who've been elected prime minister or president and they've failed. Why have they failed? Because the team surrounding them are not as good as the person who's at the head. So you can be great, but your team has to be good or equally great. So
Exactly.
To make it
so
strong.
no,
Let's talk
disagree.
about leadership. Let's talk about some people are born to be leaders. Do you believe in that? Some people, they have leadership, I mean, qualities. Even without learning about leadership. You don't need, like, some people don't necessarily have to go to the classroom to learn how to become a perfect leader, a very good leader.
There's a saying that some people are born great and some people have greatness thrust upon them. So some people, they become a leader even when they're not seeking it. Sure. Circumstances happen and they emerge as the leader. Other people, from day one, they've always been seen as the person who was the leader. I'm smiling because I can remember where I lived in Brixton. There was this girl, she looked like she was only about 3 feet tall, and yet she was undisputably the leader of all the kids in the area. They did whatever she told them. It used to fascinate me. I used to watch her, like, several of them were several years older than her. All of them were taller than her. And yet she was the undisputed leader. To me, that's somebody who was born to lead.
With the qualities.
You know, she had those leadership qualities. It's quite fascinating. You know, I used to just watch her and think, gosh, you know, I admire that in her. So there are people like that. There are people like that. And she just took to it naturally. And as I said, there are some people where circumstances happen, some calamity happens, and suddenly you take command, even probably from the person who was initially in command, because you are the one who can assess the situation, and suddenly you become the leader.
Definitely.
Because you have those leadership qualities. It can happen.
Exactly. Well, it's very important. I mean, it's not very far. I mean, just yesterday, the Queen, Her Majesty, was laid to rest. And if you look at it, I mean, most people believe the Queen, you know, has some leadership skills that she was using, I mean, to unite nations, I mean, to visit places, to attract people to the United Kingdom. So I think she have those. Now people are asking if Charles is going to be, I mean, having those leadership skills.
Well, the reason she had those skills is because she was born into the royal family. From the minute they can breathe and think, they are told that it is their job and their duty to lead. And so that's what they know. So even Prince Charles, now King Charles, that is what he would have been taught from a very early age, that at some point when your mother dies, if your mother dies, you will become king and you must be ready to lead, to step into it. With Queen Elizabeth herself, I mean, she was 22 when her father died. She was in Kenya. I think we mentioned this yesterday. I wouldn't say she wasn't expecting it. He'd been ill. The father had been ill, so she must have been dreading it. But just to take back about, you know, her father became king because his own brother, who was the king, King Edward, gave up the throne because they didn't allow him to marry a divorcee. He wanted to marry a divorced woman, and Parliament said no. And he gave up the throne. And so the Queen's father really wasn't expecting to become king, but suddenly he was king. and he had to take on that mantle. And so, of course, she then learned from her father what she needed to do, and what she did above all else, when you're talking about leadership, she took over an empire, the British Empire. But by the time she died, there was no longer a British Empire. There was a British Commonwealth. The empire, everybody in the empire pretty much had gained independence and broken away. They kept ties because of the Commonwealth, but her leadership qualities probably helped. So you have a point there. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, Lolly, what do you say about leadership?
I think leadership, as Mr. Ade said, it's in two forms. And I think one needs to, convince people, and you need to act in accordance with your character, because I think leadership has to do with your character, how you portray yourself, how you live in society. So I think qualities are really important. Your attitude towards people, talking to them, in convincing them. I think it has leadership actually has to do with your character.
But we have to differentiate between a leader and a boss.
Yes,
I mean,
they're not the same.
They are not the same, yes.
You're right.
I mean, at some point, we try to mix a leader and a boss together.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, so the bossy type is the one that relaxes and everything is done, you know, by maybe
by terrorizing people.
Exactly.
Possibly.
Give it commands.
I think one should be a leader.
Yes, I mean, a leader is somebody who can get people to do things. And I think, as Lolly used the word, to convince people. You have to persuade people that what you're telling them or asking them to do is the right thing. And then they'll say, okay, I trust this person's judgment. I will go along with it. And there are different leadership styles. There's not just one leadership style. There are different styles, and so people use different ways of persuading people and convincing people.
Some can be a lion.
Some can be a lion.
Some can be a lion
Exactly.
to terrorize people, to show that they are leaders. But some can be a sheep,
Because think about it, even among sheep, there's a leader. And that's why people, they criticize sheep, because they say once they have a leader who is the sheep, wherever that one goes, the others follow. So that sheep, even among sheep, there is a leader. And so, yeah.
Being a leader, you don't need to be.
When you said a sheep, I mean, it reminded me when there was a time I saw a sheep knocked the head of a duck and killed the duck.
Whoa.
I was surprised to see that.
Wow.
Gave
it a headbutt.
Yes, I think the dogs were following the front,
terrorizing them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the big one among them, happened to give the dog a very good head.
Why?
Unfortunately, it died.
Wow.
See?
It died.
You see, so this, if we go back to our proverb, there you are, you see. So sheep can get aggressive too.
Exactly. So that's the African proverb for you. We'll take a short break. The program is sponsored by Opticalia. They specialize on ear, nose, throat, and eyes. They are located at the Tropic Building in Senegambia. Go visit them now. We'll take a short break. After the break, the newspaper review. We'll be back.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
To build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With a touch of your fingers,
With ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back from that break. And of course, yes, I mean, Mr. Ade said, I am used to the word of course, and of course, yes.
You know, some people have these things that they say.
I'm trying to...
For example, our colleague, Mboj, we tease him because he says absolutely. For me, they used to tease me that I said the word quite.
Quite,
yes.
A lot. So we all have our...
Of course, it's my, I think, and of course, if I say this, it helped me to regain power.
Yeah, quite.
I mean, to start again. You understand? So I think that's the power point there. Yes.
Quite.
So now we are going to the newspaper review, and this one reads Bah signs book of condolence as he attends Queen's funeral. We also have Carton warns geology not to grant license to mining companies. Gambia police force suspends unofficial police checkpoint. Honorable Barrow asks Sport Minister Baji to resign over Wise Padium scandal. And of course, Friendship Hotel murder case land in court. That's what we have on the
I have Foroya. And pick up where you left off. Court remands Kumba Sinyan. That's the Friendship Hotel or hostel as it used to be called, although everybody seems to be calling it hotel now, murder case. And then I have Farato families ask government to help enforce court judgment over disputed land. Another story here, ferry service assures users of reliable service and affordable tariff. Good news.
Good news.
Indeed, regional police commissioners authorized to suspend all unofficial checkpoints.
Yes.
We'll wait and see whether that happens, because if they're watching, people are still being asked to renew their driving licenses every year. It should be 3 years. That's the law. So why are you doing it? So this checkpoint, I'll believe it when I see it. National Youth Council holds second edition of Youth Connect Summit. I don't know why they decided to spell connect with a K in the middle there.
Yeah.
But I'm laughing here because it should say summit. It says Youth Submit instead of summit.
Summit, yeah.
They meant summit. Parents deplore high cost of textbooks, books and other stationery. And travelers, including Gambians, have to pay 20 euros before they take their flight. We dealt with this yesterday. And the state of our hospitals need assessment.
Absolutely.
Certainly agree with
Wow.
that.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Important one
Mr.
there.
Mboj, I see you wearing very nice waistcoat. I should have commended you on your waistcoat.
Oh,
by the
yeah.
way.
Well, this is a courtesy of my big brother, Babukar Sise.
Ah.
Yes, Babukar Sise.
Babukar the Englishman,
Yes, QTV.
Yes.
I mean, he said, my brother, look, this is for you. It's a new one. Go make me proud.
And it suits
and you have done so.
Yes.
Babukar Sise, thank you. Thank you
it
for...
really suits you, yeah.
Yes, it's looking good, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with suspending all police checkpoints, unofficial police checkpoints.
Yeah, it's interesting because this kind of came to a head when the transport strike, because one of their demands was that there were a lot of checkpoints, and people laughed at them. Oh, how can you ask the police to suspend checkpoints? Well, they're now suspending unofficial ones.
Official checkpoints.
And it begs the question, why were there unofficial checkpoints
Thank you.
by the police?
That's my thought as well. Unofficial checkpoints.
Why did they ever have unofficial checkpoints? Is it to collect attire money or something? I mean, what were they for? So obviously they should be suspended. And
in fact, I am disappointed. I mean, hearing on official checkpoints. This means, I mean, from the way it is put on this newspaper, I mean, their authorities know. I mean, there are unofficial checkpoints.
On the way.
Yes,
and I think this happened because the public really added their voices. Yes, because it happened during the strike. When the president was out to speak, he revealed some of these checkpoints on the way, and the police commissioner was there. So I think it is important we talk about things. Then they put a mechanism in place.
Well, if you read, I mean, I'll just take a snippet from the press release that they've issued. It says there exist official and unofficial checkpoints. The official ones are state authorized checkpoints, while the unofficial ones are temporarily stationed at accident-prone locations. But we know that's not true. A lot of them, they're not particularly accident-prone locations. They just seem to spring up anywhere.
Anywhere.
You know, so, you know, sorry, Mr. Police.
Well, I've seen checkpoints that
true.
you know. I mean, when you look at them, you will definitely know these checkpoints are not official.
They're just there.
In fact, the Inspector General of Police doesn't even know we have these checkpoints
He
here.
doesn't even know how many.
Yes. Although we have very disciplined, some of the police officers are very disciplined,
Yes,
and they are decent, and they know their job. They do it
true.
professionally. I've met a couple of them. I mean, we've engaged, I mean, on certain things. You know, you will see the professionalism in them.
Yes, I mean, I sometimes, I don't anymore, but I used to joke with them when I would stop. I'd be stopped at a checkpoint, because I would say to them, but the car on the other side, because sometimes they would have one policeman checking the traffic going this way and the other one the other way. And I would say to them, but that car hasn't got any lights and it's 10 o'clock at night. You stopped him, but are you going to stop him and admonish him for the fact that he's driving at this? But they would just laugh. You know, so I did tend to wonder what the checkpoints were for. What were they checking? Is it for drugs, for guns, but not for lights, which are equally dangerous?
I hope they are not checking their pockets.
Well,
Maybe
who
they-
knows?
Well,
But really, I mean, one wonders
it is
why
good
these
that
checkpoints.
I think it is good that they put out this press release, because it is really important that they make a stop to these unofficial checkpoints on our way.
there was a time, it's sort of a joke. I mean, people say this thing all the time. They said there was a police officer stationed somewhere at a checkpoint. You know, when he was promoted to a high class, you know, he was supposed to go to the head office. And he was like, no, I don't want to move. I want to be.
I want to stay on traffic.
I want to remain on my checkpoint. So leave me there.
Look, even though that story might be fictitious, I think there's a lot of truth in it.
Oh yes.
Because even in Sierra Leone, there were policemen and policewomen who would plead not to be taken off traffic duty, because they would make 5, 6, 7 times what they were paid by being on traffic duty. Just by stopping taxi drivers or commercial vehicle drivers mainly, they wouldn't extort money from private individual, you know, people driving private cars, but they made so much money from getting money from taxi drivers and commercial, that they did not ever want to be moved from traffic duty. Because, you know, this, look, if you're getting 5 or 6 times your pay, come on, you're not going to get that sitting behind the desk.
You'll just have to wait for end of month to get your
Well,
paycheck.
this is it. You get your paycheck and that's it.
Yeah.
Whilst you can supplement your paycheck, you can make the equivalent of what you earn in a month, you can make in a day. Who wouldn't want that? So, yeah.
Wow.
Not just in the Gambia.
They make
So
that money. I mean,
yeah.
I would have been a police officer there.
But it's someday you'll have to stop, because you know we are we must try to fight corruption,
But
and it has
let's take
to
a
come
look at
from
this.
both
I mean,
ends.
it's also important for us to look at it in another way. I mean, always the two sides of the story.
Sure.
A police officer needs to be empowered. A police officer needs to be looked after by their authorities.
Sure.
Sometimes the pay they receive, it's a chicken thing.
Listen, when you say this, and I always bring this up, that we are not a rich country. If everybody was paid what they're worth, doctors, nurses, teachers, policemen, the military, they would all be getting 5 times what they're being paid now. But we don't have the money. So it's not that we don't value them, but where's the money coming from? There is not this magic money tree that you can just pluck money from and say, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Policeman and woman, here's extra money. Nurses and doctors, here's extra money. Where is it going to come from? You know, because I hear this all the time. Nobody's saying they should not be paid. But if somebody can convince me that there's somewhere where we can get the money to pay these people, we'll pay them. Let us pay them. But we just don't have it.
So I think it will be important one to be content as well, because you can say I'm having less, so I should rip people off on the traffic to you know add up to what I have.
Well,
I think.
so what will you do?
Yeah, but it's not easy. It's not easy to be content if you can't pay your rent.
The way they do it,
do you know why?
can't pay your rent.
You know why
You can't buy a
other
bag of rice.
nations? I mean, you have less corruption on their traffic. It's because they are provided for. the government provide everything.
It's a mixture of things.
A police officer, I mean, they'll make sure 100%, you know, your family is okay.
Decent pay.
I mean, you
pension.
have enough food at home. You have a whole. You see, the problem that we have in this country, if people are able to feed their families, they are okay.
They are okay.
You understand? But you left home without even giving fish money.
Sure.
You understand? And you expect to go and stand in the middle of the road, and someone give you 200, or you've seen someone breaking the law, and you have the opportunity to at least take 200 from that person, and you let the opportunity go by like that.
So you're
supposed to give fish money at home. You know, it's difficult. This is very difficult.
It's about temptation, and we have to be honest.
We have to be honest, definitely.
We have to be honest about
That's
it. That's
my point.
There's a reason why people do these things.
Sure.
And so yes, for the police, I think the checkpoints is good that they're going to go. We hope that there is not an increase in criminality, because checkpoints get taken away. Then we'll all be saying, bring them back. So the public, we have to report criminality where we see it to the police. Otherwise, the police will say, you see, there was a reason why we had these checkpoints. So
They
have a point.
Exactly. Well, there was a time I met up with a police officer. I was on the traffic going, and he said to me, look, I mean, you didn't break the law, nothing happened, but today I am totally broke.
The guy has been honest with you.
I've money. So that you can understand. You can at least give him something. But I mean, those that find a lot of excuse to are a problem. You know, they'll move your car, whether the handbrakes are working, put the brake lights on, put your light, dim it, full light. You understand? They'll do all those things. Oh, give me paper, show me this, show me that. You understand? So it's a bit difficult also. But let's shift to our entertainment industry. I mean, a unique role Gambian entertainers influence fans to get COVID-19 jabs. You understand? I will deviate from the COVID-19 jab a bit, but let's talk about the importance of the music industry. As a musician, what should you do, I mean, to enlighten your people? 75% of the songs that I hear in the Gambia, it's all about love. It's all about party. It's all about enjoyment. I mean, music goes beyond that. I think music goes beyond party, talking about love, talking about girls, talking about, pool party. I think it goes beyond that.
Beyond entertainment.
It should. Let me tell you, in Cameroon, there's you can look him up, Lapiro Dumbanga, a musician. He once came out with a song, very popular musician who did a kind of Afro-Zouk stuff. And he did a song called Constipated Constitution. And the reason he made this song was because Paul Biya had taken away term limits from the Cameroonian constitution. Lapiro was arrested and he spent 3.5 years in jail just for that song.
Yeah?
I swear, you can look it up online. So musicians stick to safe subjects.
Sure.
Love, parties and stuff, because they know, particularly in Africa, all you need is for the head of state to take objection to a song that you've made, like that particular song. Of course, the song was directly referencing the change in the constitution, but Lapiro ended up in jail. People, Amnesty International, everybody campaigned for his release. They never released him until 3.5 years later. And sadly, because of some of the beatings, he died not long after he was released. So, there are reasons why people stay away from certain subjects. You might want them to, be critical and be, the voice of the youth and so on. They may want to be the voice of youth, but do they want to spend time in Mile 2? Which is what would have happened in the previous regime,
but
just for a song.
When you talk about songs also, I mean, you can avoid singing about the government, you understand? I mean, not everybody allows for his government to be criticized. I mean, certainly, and musicians are very important. They have followers, and they are very powerful. They can sing a song. I can remember during Jammeh's time. I mean, like before the end of his era, there was a musician that sang a song called ku bokk si géta bi naan si meew mi.
And he was in
by
trouble.
the name Killer Ace.
Yeah,
Killer Ace.
and
You
that landed
understand?
him in
It was
trouble.
very popular here. You understand?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, he couldn't survive it in the Gambia.
No.
He have to go on exile.
That's right. So, I mean, you're right, but I mean, it's not just about, yes, it's not just about criticizing the government, but I think sometimes, I think the influence and the power of musicians is overrated. And I'll tell you why. You said you didn't want to talk about COVID-19. Since COVID-19 came to this country, do you know how many songs we played on QTV? Musicians advocating for their fans to take their jabs. How many of them took the jab? How many of them covered up? How many of them stopped shaking hands? None of it happened. So for all the so-called influence that these people, they don't have it. It's a myth. It's a complete myth. You know, because if they did have it, young people who are into their music will all be lining up to get their jabs. They'll all be wearing masks. They'll all be stop shaking hands when we were told to stop shaking hands. None of that happened. So no, I don't believe it. I mean, I think sometimes it's overrated. You know, sometimes, you know, that the influence, occasionally people,
and
you know,
sometimes organizations use musicians to, you know, advocate for and send their messages across. Like Jaliba Akuyate have been used several times, you know, to advocate and, you know, we'll talk about litter on our streets. Yeah, sensitize people through music about littering on the streets, you know. We've been seeing people do that, like musicians.
So look at our streets.
See,
I wish we had live view now.
And you know,
and
when
you tell me about littering
like
on our
seriously.
streets.
Yesterday I came across, I mean,
you know,
a driver of a van. I mean, he was having this teacup and he threw it.
I see it every day,
like
and it
this.
annoys me.
I was like, wow.
I wish one day it would stop annoying me. I don't think it ever will, because I see it every day, and every time they do it, I always look at the street and I see all the other 100 cups that people have discarded when you know nobody's going to come and sweep it.
Nylon bags,
everything is scattered on
so they have an influence.
Exactly.
People don't pay attention to it.
Well, it's difficult. It's totally difficult. Mr. Ade, I mean, I think there should be a proper regulation. I mean, we should start putting fees. I mean, but it's unfortunate too. How are you going to put the fees?
Enforcement. You have laws, but enforcing these laws.
I mean, it's very difficult.
Attitude.
I think people have to. We're talking about earlier. We were talking about leadership and bringing people along. This is the best way to bring people along and say, look, I'm telling you to stop dirtying your environment or throwing rubbish and so on, because you're going to benefit from it, not just me.
I'm told it's already time.
What?
Yes.
2 stories
it's
and
time,
we're done.
It's time already. So we'll take a short break. After the break, the program continues. We'll be talking to Future in Our Hand. It's not a new organization in the Gambia.
No, 41 years, like 40 years they've been existing.
I grew
since
up
1979.
hearing their name. So we want to know their functions and what they do, their activities. Chairman Sise will be here to talk to us. We'll be taking a short break. After the break, we'll be back.
Q Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the QCell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. That's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyubus. We innovate, others follow. Your favorite QCell service has gotten bigger. eFunkanta. Now you can loan bigger.
You are watching QTV this morning, and of course, that's the we have already dealt with the African Proverb, the newspaper review, interesting review there with Mr. Ade.
Oh yes, it was really exciting to talk about things. Yeah,
absolutely. So now we'll go straight to Community Watch. As I mentioned before the break, we'll be having Cherno Cisse from Future in Our Hands. Lolly, you remember Future in Our Hands?
Future in Our Hands, yes, I do remember.
Future in Our Hands, I grew up hearing their name.
Like 40 years, right?
But is it true that we have the future in our hands?
That's what I just asked. Do we have the future in our hands?
We want
Mr.
to know.
Cisse.
And to help us answer that, we have Cherno Cisse.
Oh, yes.
Cherno, you are welcome.
Cisse Kunda.
Thank you very much. And thank you for having me this morning.
Come on, tell us about Future in Our Hands.
Literally, we have a future.
Okay. Just like you said, future is in our hands. Future in Our Hands is an organization looking at the future of the Gambians, that's the children. And we believe that building that future, it has to start today. And that lies in the hands of the adults. That's why when you look at our logo, it's a jar in the hands of, with somebody holding it. And we all know how fragile a jar is, and that's how fragile the future of the kids are. So if we as adults today don't take care of this future, we might have a problem. So this is an organization that has been existing, as you said, for over 4 decades now.
Sure.
And we started mainly building schools and school constructions. These are mainly funded by the Swedish organization through their Swedish Development Fund in collaboration with Forum CIF and Gambia groups based in Sweden. And these groups consist mainly of teachers who donate parts of their money to finance classroom construction, kitchens and toilet staff quarters in this country. So basically this is how the organization started. It started as a construction-based organization. Yes, but over time it evolves and it encompasses a lot of activities in the form of projects and programs. But mainly we work with the rural Gambia. That's LRR, URR, CRR and NBR. But few of our activities roll out in the urban part of the Gambia. But our main focus is looking at the provincial part of the Gambia.
That's important, yes. So since establishment, 1979, you've been building schools and you have, like, you're in 120 communities in the Gambia.
More than that.
Yes. So we want to know, like, your recent projects. What have you been doing recently?
Okay, recently, as I said, the organization was into classroom construction, looking at the future in our hands still. But we realized that building the future would not be enough when you have classrooms. So we tried to walk into the classroom by initiating units like the school development unit that looks at the in-service teacher training to help improve the teaching quality in the classrooms. And furthermore, another unit was created looking at the community development unit, because we felt that if the capacity of the community is not built economically, they would find it difficult to sustain their children's education. So in so doing, we tried to empower women, training them on skills, and even youths as well. So basically, we looked at a holistic approach to development, try to fight poverty using education as a means of entry. So basically, we do more of advocacy, trying to empower communities to make informed decisions that make a good living for themselves.
Exactly. So, I mean, you've been kind of quiet for a very long time. I've not been hearing Future in Our Hands recently. What have you been up to, your recent projects?
Okay, recently we are into a lot of activities, as I said. The organization works with women in communities, and not long ago we had a women delivered forum. This is a forum that empowers women to build their capacities to take their places in the political arena, because we've all realized in this country that women are not taking lead when it comes to politics. They are backbenchers. So we're trying to change that narrative in trying to build their capacities in through activities. We've also engaged in teacher training, just as I said, and not long ago we've embarked with the inset unit of the Ministry of Education, that's MOPSI, developing training material for the incoming academic year to build the capacities of head teachers. And the organization have a unit looking at that, using organizational funds, but we also worked with MOPSI to collaborate and do more of that, because as I said, the scope that we work with, it's not that big. And you know, the country is not only in the provincial Gambia with schools, but it's all over the country. So therefore, MOPSI also support us. We collaborate with them and we expand the activities to most of their schools.
Charo, when you talk about women not being involved in politics or taking decisions, I mean, sometimes by empowering them, you think women will still be involved in taking part in politics and taking part in other responsibilities?
Yes, because as I said, we believe that education is a way to help move this country. And if people are not aware of their rights, it's difficult for them to claim it. So obviously, empowering them, making them understand that these are rights that belongs to them, it's an opportunity for them to explore. Obviously, we believe that they have an opportunity to go.
I don't think so. I don't think so. You know what I think?
Okay.
I mean, even if women are informed of their rights, even if women are given the opportunity to learn, you know, to take up challenges and other responsibilities, I mean, if the way is not paved for them, I mean, we've seen a whole lot of organizations that will talk about women's rights, but at the end of the time, look at our elections, look at our politics. How many women do we have in our National Assembly? How many women do we have contesting for presidential elections here? I mean, we like talking about women, we like empowering women, we like using funds to sponsor certain things, but actual implementation, I'll tell you.
This is where I wanted to
Even if women learn, even if you teach them 100 years, if we are not ready to give them space, they will never have a space. If society is not ready to be open-minded, to accept and accommodate these women, we will never see women go where they are supposed to be.
Yes, I quite agree with that. The space needs to be provided. This is why we are also starting somewhere. Because for us, we don't want to look at it in that dimension, where to say, even if you empower them, they will not move. Because changes, we all understand that start somewhere. And we are doing our quota from that perspective. And if I can tell you that from the community perspective, we've seen women taking leading roles in their communities through our interventions, where in a particular community, women are taking leading roles in their VDCs, executives, and they are holding substantial positions. So we believe that if we continue the trend, it can even come to the national level.
So how impactful is this help you give to women? Like, after giving them certain support in schools, both, I'm going to refer to both schools and the women organizations that you help, how often do you go back there and check on these women to see how impactful your organization have?
I think that's a good question, because as I said, we work with programs and projects. This is an important component in our programs, and they are ongoing. And even this year, we have plans to do more of it. Yes.
Let's talk about quality of education. I mean, you are involved in building schools. I mean, making sure the youngsters. I mean, when you talk about future in our hands, I mean, education complements the future.
Sure.
Without education, there is no brighter future. I mean, those that are educated are believed to be the ones that are going to handle the future well.
Sure.
You understand? So let's talk about this. The quality of education. Not only building structure, but also putting up and making sure there is quality education.
Right.
Yeah, we've seen our recent results in the
Yes.
Gambia. I mean, it's not up to expectation. So what are you doing about this?
Yes, the organization, as I said, has a whole unit looking at the teacher in-service teacher training. Because, you know, Gambia College is responsible for teacher training. But what we do is to in-service them when they are posted to schools. Okay, what the unit does is to build the capacity of teachers to ensure that they handle these children at an early age. We are targeting classes mainly ECD grade 1, 2, and 3, because we believe that if children at this stage are able to read and write,
then they have a good foundation.
The foundation will be strong. And this is what we are doing. We have a whole program on it that is looking at the early grade reading ability, looking at the material production, because we believe that children today cannot learn in abstract. You need to give them activities that are engaging, because we try to look at the MOPSIS model of teacher people-centered lessons instead of teacher-centered lessons, because we believe that children need to explore to discover things, and that remains in them. Because teachers will always say, I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, but when I do, I understand.
Sure.
So this doing is what is absent in most of the classrooms. So we try to inject that part of the teacher training component into the teachers to ensure that the children have a better foundation.
So I have another question for you. How do you do your selections? Because you're not only in the Greater Banjul, you're in the rural areas.
Yes.
And there are certain parts that you might not be aware of, like, you know, in the deeper rural Gambia. So how do you do your selections to make sure that you have every school covered, or you have every region covered?
Okay, that's a good question. We are not covering everywhere, as I said earlier. The selection, we do it in collaboration with the regional authorities. Mostly they will give us the list of villages, and I can tell you these villages are all deep inside. Hardly we work with schools which are on the road. Mostly they are all off the road schools, hard to reach communities.
Sure.
These are the communities that we target. When the regional authorities give us this list of communities, because our main target is looking at the school first, the village must, or the community must have a school. That is the one of the first criteria. And we have a unit called the Community Development Unit, who will go into these communities and do a community assessment. Because there are criteria that we looked at, that we work around with. So after that assessment, then there is a PRA conducted, that is the Rural Participatory Appraisal.
Okay.
Working with the rural people to kind of assess what happens in their own community, the things they have, the things that they don't have. So from that, we identify their priorities. This is done with our help, but they will have to be the one taking the lead to prioritize their own needs. And based on this, we will also design our activities around those priorities.
So lend a hand, Future in Our Hands, yes, it reminds me of that organization.
Lend a Hand Society, yeah.
Yes, Future in Our Hands, where is the money coming from?
Partners.
I think that's a good question.
You must
As I said,
you must have a lot of money.
Future in Our Hands is mainly funded by the Swedish government.
Yeah, because it takes a lot of money to create a future.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
The fund mainly comes from the Swedish government. But most recently, we also have to diversify our funding based on the number of activities that we are doing. So we have a lot of partners that are supporting our activities now, including NED, that's National Endowment for Democracy. It's an American-based organization. We also have funding from EU, and most recently, I think it's with MOPSI, building classrooms for them. Yeah.
Exactly. Interesting conversation there. I mean, I think we've come to the end of this segment. We'll monitor. We'll look at the things that you do.
Accountability.
And, you know, don't hesitate to contact us. I mean, anything that you want to share with the public, I mean, we are open. This is your platform. You can come and share. As far as we are all in this together, it's nations building.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you very much for coming on this program, Cherno. We really appreciate your coming.
It's a pleasure.
Yes. Viewers, will take a short break. After the break, we'll be talking to the president of the Livestock Owners Association. I mean, they want to deny us from eating meat. I mean, nobody is going to deny me from eating meat. I have to make sure the cattle are healthy. We'll take a short break. We'll be back.
Save up to 50% energy with the new side-by-side Samsung refrigerator. Samsung air conditioners come with HD filter and antibacterial for your protection. Save time, energy, and effort by using our washing machines, loaded with innovative features that offer superior cleaning technology. Step into the future of television with our slick and slim Samsung Smart TV designs. Sizes range from 32 to 85 inches. Smart LED, Crystal UHD Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dark LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV. Unparalleled vision, right from the comfort of your living room. Our products are backed with 1-year warranty. Visit us at Q South Building at Caraba Avenue or at Boost V Turntable. Contact us on 333-217 or email us at info@quantumnet.gm. As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
This is QTV this morning. I almost said this is QTV
The news, yes.
Exactly. So we are back, and now we'll go straight to the social issues. I mean, on social issues, we talk about things that are affecting us in our society. It's important, Lolly, for us to highlight, I mean, the things that are becoming problems and how to tackle them. And as you know, last week we broadcast a video on QTV on the cattle disease that is making rounds. I mean, if you could remind me the name of the disease.
The lumpy skin disease.
The lumpy skin
disease
in
cattle,
okay.
cattle, yeah.
Exactly. So we have Ibrahima Jallo, the president of the Cattle Owners Association of the Gambia. I mean, to help us, I mean, enlighten us more and more on this. I think we have the story, so we'll take that video. We'll be back.
It was first reported in Sando district in the Upper River region since the beginning of the year. It continues to spread to all regions of the country, affecting only cattle. The president of the National Livestock Owners Association, Ibrahima O. Jallo, said the disease is having a serious effect on the cattle farmers with significant income losses. He appeals to the authority to help prevent the further spread of the disease.
This is a disease that affects the body of the animal. By looking, you can see a lot of spots on the animal, and then at a point it disturbs the animal to death. And then actually we're receiving a lot of mortality. When we talk about a lot of death, most of the animals that are affected, especially the young ones, is lead to their death. And this is a loss to the farmers across the country. And I think it's a concern to the farmers, it's a concern also to the Gambian people, and it's a concern to the authorities in the Gambia.
Jallo further stated that the consequences of the disease are also devastating at national level because of the substantial economic losses in milk production, reduced skin quality, and restriction of trade and movement of cattle.
The government of the Gambia almost provide about 100,000 doses to give out to this animal. So we are appealing to the Gambia government and to the authority through the Ministry of Agriculture to them to help us to provide more, or to any other donors, so that the animals in this country will able to receive this vaccination to save from this particular disease. Because once this disease emerge and then it increase into the animal, actually it will reduce production of cattle in this country, and also it reduce the income for the farmers in this country.
Dr. Abdou Sise, Director of the Department of Livestock Services, said his department is making all efforts to contain the disease. He added that the Epidemiology and Information Unit of the Department of Livestock Services are collecting the data obtained from the field.
Lumpy skin does not have a cure per se. There is no, specific drug that is known to treat lumpy skin disease. It's a viral disease, and many viral diseases don't have a cure. All that is done to deal with them is to put up measures to prevent them from occurring.
Dr. Sise also reveals that the mortality rate of the lumpy skin disease is very low, as only a few cattle are dying due to the disease. He, however, says his department has not relented since the beginning of the outbreak, and they have already rolled out vaccination throughout the regions to prevent and contain the spread of the disease.
We are working on getting more funds to buy the vaccine. The vaccine is available commercially. You know, if we want today to get it from Senegal, we can easily get it. So it's about getting the funds now quickly approved, and then we would continue responding to outbreaks wherever they may occur in the country.
Dr. Sise further dispelled rumors currently circulating, suggesting that eating the meat and milk of infested cattle can transfer lumpy skin disease to human beings. He explains that lumpy skin disease cannot be transferred to human beings through consumption of cattle meat or milk or direct contact with infected cattle. Although the origin of the disease is yet to be established, officials believe the risk of imminent infection from neighboring countries is very high. In the current situation, veterinary services are confronting the disease for the first time, as they are unfamiliar with the disease clinical presentation, its transmission methods, and the available prevention and control options. Reporting for KTV News.
We prefer to do this in the local language, because most of our cattle farmers are local viewers, so sure, it's important for us to do this. Ibrahima, mafole bismillah program moto QTV jang mo laftale doman fo mole nyin sasato
abaraka bake Mr. Balde ngal konton bake me QTV fanana management be konton na me yalon ko fanana kantar lalem o beantiol surtout me yalon ko nyin courant dunte la koral ko no fanan be konton na jam fo fatoto fo Gambia dawoda ya fo nyamen nyi mu courant oti me yalon ko anata nyin banko kan amanke courant kutoti courant wala me yalon ko kantarlal mede kaje ila korel do baraka ninso da male affect buka be an kote ngol affect baraka ninso da male ma since July information start to circulate mol start to reporting ke so the livestock assistant on the ground that the courant wala findita ka chuputol ke baloto andum ninsi dolbe je asi mutano e kendea dolbe je courant woni si sembo sotono as it can lead to the death of the animal. But the breeding department ya kalamuta jan nimfang itol pa kalamuta la ngamra de have a vaccination dole soto ye will distribute to the regions within the 6 regions in the Gambia, and then ni momo reporting ke ya ye fere ke isa vaccination nyinta. But the vaccination ni doctor ya fanyamen bari tolle mu doctor rolti abuka beangu njara aka prevent le so aka munta ko ni beangu tata fo ay soto aka difficult le pour be ngoni jara fa ay mura anyama ba nta simen fono jelem courant ngoni nta fono la region cleanama ay Gambia banko belema because all the regions in the country ni la regional care personal fanan diamuta and it will find information of the regional directors for the national assortment the Department of Livestock Service fanata kalamuta this courant ajanjanta Gambia banko bele kan wala nan tol kam men wosi wala mu ngamo docteur yafo the mortality rate manke wanyama bari pruntol kantarlan kore niata ko du courant dunta jahanata wa ninsi kilim fula sabale fa ndo safa ko the mortality is high and nga kore dol jibe même fata jata mbita ninsi lulula and to me one animal na fata just hadama dingo in a compound ni courant dunta korra ko no sade ko na mo kilim fula sabafa to Ross has the farmers ndolka jeleko is a bit high but in nak si même fono je Mr. Balde wala mu we still appeal to the government because bring a consultation okay ngakala mo ko 100,000 dose Gambia government will provide and Dr. Ofana ya for jango the medicine they are looking for fund. Even you go to Senegal, you can obtain the medicine. And we are appealing to the government because ndol fana be jikirin walla ni courant siva findita isi makoi because you're talking about nearly 300,000 ninsol me alon ko wolle be Gambia. So nearly 100,000 nati ibaja la ko wodosino men nata still now there's a gap. And nyanta kala vaccine bari ka prevent le ake vaccine do me alon ko asi ninsol be cover nole. And at the end of the day yani courant wodunda Gambia as a gino. But if you vaccinate about 100,000 and we are living nearly about 200,000, still now kurangunyensi asimeno jambe asimaba nole. So what we are appealing to the authorities, through the Minister of Agriculture, kajeko we can have enough of this dose. ibajala ko the regional directors through the various region is vaccination sika ya tala andung amanke woti Mr. Atodung Mr. Balde anin lolli nyin kura wona be ngomuta is a loss to the farmer because one naman be ngonyin fa even you take this animal to the market not everybody will buy the animal
lafa ke nyinin ka woltola economically among profit soto yeah is a loss na bankola na yirwa na flo ani fulan jan wolen sain kanyin subo nyin domo ani jata kende ala kolbe nyaade because nin so nyini afa ba sambala marcel to anu fanan keke nyim fanan is it safe for to consume this
pour moliado
along at that side ntebe at the farmer level Dr. Diamuda Jande and we are testify ko kurandol beje they can be transferable disease from animal to human but I know particular this lumpy skin disease ako a market transferable disease and niata ko jama kurangol sifa men findira me alon ko wol ka transfer department of government ka wulile and they consult the farmer niaja dawda jama ka beango nyum fale ya sare wo sifala just like bad flu wo sifala but nyimo kurangoti me alon ko hannabe beango to niya kanate ya domo fante mala bar nag yalon hadama dingola hakilo ni fenje me yalon ko be kurande pour ya kanate fan ya dom hanni fente mala bari hakilo jama o buka muta bari doctorole mentani dunia ko non even in the Gambia kurangole me yalon ko ni kantara jela ila korode ta wafinola isa wafino ya dum ila korda ko no ni moli atala ate fenkela bari ngani limani asodo from the doctors
akuma ya tabake Ibrahima saying altol mele yalon ko altol le mu National Livestock Owners Association te altol mune ma la loti nyin ko
kata cool
follow niko the National Livestock Owners Association Mr. Baldenga local nani le soto one of the pillar me alon ko nga soto ika for animal health and production well they are working very closely with the Department of Livestock Services itadale fam foye mo kemenim feng train from the farmers from various regions ika for the Sanitary Defense Committee well mo farmers already they are trained to be within the committee ne kuranje the farmers should able to report to that person and we finance report to the livestock extension worker member je ibajala sitano to the regional director and then to the director general and then to fananka communicate we have a WhatsApp group ninga fengo fenje mensute farmers can report to us ibajala to fana we can communicate to the authority ga tanile nga nyinde jenna beangol to na sise bungolto on na ninsolto on na balto ibajala information on ning asifulono ndosi menkeno wolem again neata ko kurango ning ya bri wato mena jeta and then department fana ya confirm it is the responsibility of the association being a findi kwateke we discuss with the farmers and inshallah the mela we will be having a meeting in Brikama and then we invited the department being a see because it only sign and symptom and the effect it only along but nakka ko nyinje fana ngasute na bengo kuranta farmers all fana me all understand le nsimendo appeal no la jam wolemu that sanitary defense committee loli wolem anyanta state ninale because all they are directly dealing with the farmers and they are directly dealing with the animals inyante karanda ni ta Senegal Senegal ko buga government batu
no
in fact even vaccination e ka molle jibe me alon ko tenable farmers mol dol be je me alon ko they are farmers bari le londo soro like biete be jang ni bota jang you live and go to become a farmer isi ila be ngol la pengurnya nin ku koteng first aid given it to your animal asikeno but like Gambia o kake kilialde they don't want like the farmer to get sometime more closer to the animal but every person even at your family you will able to know how to manage sometimes your family or give them some first aid before they going to the hospital. So it doesn't mean appeal no walemu to the ministry or to the department or to the government. This sanitary defense committee ye fere ki ye train ye nyo kalamuta because like see farmers all banta baro they interact with the farmers and they interact with this animal. Ibaya ne kunde o kunje they will able to do one or two things Mr. Abad.
Exactly. Ibrahima labinen dun seda e pular bay hande sa ndari etawa hewbe do fulbe no jogi na ibuy andinembe ko sifa nyaw hombo odo wattu woni tampinde dido nayi te sitay goddo yi nayi no jogi ko ando ko do nde nawnare andandi mi faala rek labbinana en seda nde nawnare
a jarama Mr. Bande ko idi fof en calmini jama'o en idi masalmi non woni kilifaji QTV noddu ben do hande e caggal dum non ayna ko be men be remobe men be kala do be mbawi wonde en calmini be surtout ma non ayna ko be men be andana ma kambe gu nyawnati der gure mabbe ta nani o lumpy skin disease ta laari mbo fayda mbo heewe gure he min nani information min jiine min jeeyi min ƴefti video ji dulaji kewdi throughout the Gambia ngu ñaw naati nder gure meɗen ko ɓuri hen hewde noon woni nayi goɗɗi ɗi ganduɗa hoore ma ɗi itta Sénégal ko mbiyata ko goburaji because ndama o bomin jogui o ga ina ɗi nanga kono hewane kono noon Gambia ne kamen ne ɓe itta nayi goɗɗi Sénégal because ɗi mawni ɗi kewi keddamde ɗi jaayi manggu kamɓe ne ɓe adda ɗi ɗo kono noon Department of Livestock Service no ɓe nani kibaruji ɗi ɓayri kala district minen nalwa min toon jogui committee ji so kibaroti funti rek min kadata livestock extension worker gonɗo toon kam kone waɗa report to the department that will be the right channel kono noon kamɓe ne gilan ɓe tini ɗum ɓe immima on tumata laamu Gambia Mr Balde ɓe coodi ko yarata lekki tinde ko lekki wiyeteno ma penguji ko yarata temedere ujunere pengu ɓe cootno ko noon ta laari population hande nayi Gambia hayti hewani ko is about 300,000 because ko 290 something thousand of ɗum ɗo ko ɗum ɗo joguiɗen hande nden noon komin ñagoto laamu Gambia ngu baadi lekki ki nguɗo ñaw ngu wona ñawdetengu ngu ñaw ko wiyete ko ngu renat ko wiyete ko prevention minen ñaago laamu Gambia ngu ɓe mbawa en wallude ayat oɗo ñaw ɓe mbawa hen adu lekki kewki kala nagge wonge e Gambia baadi ko nagge tan memata ɓe mbawa ƴeftude ngu pengu ɓe penga ɗi nayi jiyan nayi Gambia mbaɗa ar because ta ari feccere a pengani goɗɗi ɗi ɗine ɗi mbawi hebde ñaw ngu nani docteur Cissé haali ɗo o wi lekki ki ina wayno kalis woni gammo ya ala kono hayti ɓe jeeyi Sénégal ɓe mbawi sot nden noon minen ha aynakoɓe ndi lesdi has yeesoɓe komin mbawi tan min ñaago laamu ngu min ñaago département any oɗa dono mbawɗo wallude aynakoɓe because ko kasara naati nder guure amene ɓe mbawa min wallu ki lekki heewa ɗo ɓe mbawa pengu nayyi amen ɗi foof jiiya ɗo ki lekki waɗo ngu ñaw waɗo fundude fereng because ñaw ngu Ibrahima tedin Balde ta laari ñaw ngu ti naati e wuuro ma hayti warani nagge ma ta itti ngu ñawa laari putte ɗe tana ñewndi ta in moƴƴani hayta naɓɓi to marché hay goto sodata hayta a wari tew ngu sa fayde yimɓeɓe jiiɗata ñaam because yimɓeɓe cikkanno ñaw ngu wongu ngu e neɗɗo he ngu wawi yaa to yimɓe to kono docteur noon haali ɗum laaɓi because kamɓe ɓe andi ko ñaw hongo immoto e beeyan yaha e neɗɗo e kono ɗo nguɗo ñaw ngun ɗon tawaka kono noon tawi joni jomma beeyan a wawa hirsu beeyan ma ñaama a wawa nam marché jeeyoya is a lost to the livestock sector minen ko ɗum ɗon min gullata nde noon kala ko yakkanta min e negol amen beeyaŋeji ngi ko wargol amen pour min coowama min kalna laamu ngu ɓe mbawa min dara ɓe balla min e nguɗo ñaw Balde
oɗo ñaw joni si tawi ko honɗum onon ɓe anduɗa ko noon joguiri sengo ɗiɗo nayyi ko honɗum onon ɗammini ɗon si tawi waɗaka wono laamu ngun si daraki koyɗe tiɗuɗe
ko idi noon kafu aynakoɓe gonɗo ɗo mbiyeteɗo naluwa kambo ko cate nayyi mbo jogui catal gotal ɓurgal dañde fayida hen wiyete catal joguigal ngal affaire cellal e affaire wargol malayande beeŋeji e lesdi Gambia wiyete health and production nder lembo Gambia noon humpani kala hettotoɓe ni ɓe gandi kala district mo mbawɗa yaade Gambia ɓe dañi ko wiyete ko sanitary defense committee ɓen ɗon ko minen suuɓiɓe département o waɗi ɓe train pour ɓe heppina ñaw ngu tiɓe jii ñaw ko ɓe pamani aynakoɓe ko to on ɓe mbatta report on ne ƴetta kibaru waɗa feere mbo yahata dow because ñaw wona ko suuɗete Balde ñawti funtire koko muti waɗe report because ñawuji goɗɗi ɗi ta acciɗi toon ti ɓooyi tan ne wawi addu jafe jafe kewɗo kono noon on committee min jiiɗi joni government of the Gambia made ministry ɓe mbaɗa feere on committee mbo jangguine mbo faama because ta yi lesɗe goɗɗe men ɗo aynakoɓe wonɓe ɓe lasde ɓe jangginaɓe ko heewi ko fate ñaw ɓe jangginaɓe ko heewi ko fate penguji ɓe anda ɗum ɗo ta waɗi ɗum ɗo ko ɗum ɗo wonta kono noon Gambia fayda ngol lawol minen min keɓanigol wani no Sénégal wayi kala ko wonta tan ko vétérinaire o ƴeppata ngol lawol ɓe toppito kono noon hayti min mbawa pengude ne minen ñaago jama yoɓe mballu men surtout mo laamu ngu o sanitary defense committee wonɗo ɗon ɓe jangginaɓe ha ɓe mbawa famde ɗen gueɗe ko ɗimmogol komi haalano on fatani e ñaw ngu pour haalande yimɓeɓe tan ha ɓe mbawa andude Balde ta laari dammugal ɗimmal ngal woni livestock marketing and commercialisation e ɗon woni affaire julaɓeɓe e buuseɓe ɓe ngal dammugal noon minen liggota wiyeteɓe Gambia livestock marketing Jilma kamɓe ministry of trade ɗon ni ko dammugal tingal because ta laari nder Gambia we have 26 livestock market ma ɓe mbiyata luumo luumo kala ɗo jaaɗa ɓe dañat ɗon e dulare ɓe ganduɗa ɓe jeyat ɗon beyaŋeji alhamdulillah we have 2 major market ɗum woni Brikama e Abuko ɗe ganduɗa hoore ma ɗin ɗi goɗɗani ɗum woni capital o yimɓe hewɓe ko toon ɓe jahata ɓe coodoya goɗɗo noon wona waɗi important woni livestock security and protection on ɗon woni kamɓe renoɓe affaire nguya ɗo haalanamami ɗo hannde Balde gueɗe kewɗe nammuti wona affaire ñawngu tan ko yarata nayyi kewɗe wujja Kombo South ɓe waɗɗe jolna nder moto minen sukki min ganda hoɗo nayyi ɗi jeehi ta miijima at jamma en ngala security checkpoint imuda from the border ngara ha Banjul tina dentin bridge hay goto watta mastop ko gedde ganda horma ene muti miijaade dum ngane lesdindi wawa won caggal security dum taki minen min darni groupe mo ganda horma ben don ala ko be jogi tina be shokkugol affaire bengeji medi haade mbawa dadde wuybe ma sasa yobbe en dañi goddo na component betedo environment ande to wiama environment naydi ko don di nyamata ko don di jarata ko don di dewata woni gresin e don nombina chefeji di alkaleji di VDC min liggota so talari nalwa kambo woni livestock value chain actor of all the livestock producing market talari in Mr. Balde
no jogi nafa moƴƴa Ibrahima on laɓɓini ɗo ha laaɓi poy miɗa andi loole ni ñinin kar rosoto do jani mbe Ibrahima Bulala Ibrahima mo soɓe yari mbalti because aɓe jandamin fa man kende ya bake bari akoña ko balde fonsina gañin sénéyande woto mole men yalon ko aɓe loring National Livestock Owners Association ye sinkende ba because ka president o soto men yalon ka munta ko ñing hannaɓe sasari aɓe wulla kana pour ka bola kunum biriŋa ko la ko ñiko balde felente mbitaka ngata mbe sasari bari fon sita nga ñing fe
tonya biko akumayata le andong ni ñing kusifa keta fo itol mo sifa se finti ni molye diam because the coming nga fo nyame banku diwol ñi tembe nan ki jol man tara la kuri because ye courant je mi ya lonko inene maaje wala fenne mi ko sinya fo le ba jeka amu fenne ti fo min ya lonko itol le marata o bundale ñental ka finti e ka mol kala mutande o kumayata bakel andong ku kilim fana la fa ka ñini kamina ngalo ne ko ay manke docteur oti coming o ñindo min bota diam but ngalon ko ning subol ni sol fara bu surdulale biji anu ngalon ko veterinary fanal nyanta kataraji ka jube ka checki fa nyanta duna Marcel Konole. So what are you doing in trying to ensure that ni sol mi yalon ko sasata they are not imantaran dunkan na Marcel Konole
yalon lolli o nyinin karo kumayata bage ko nimba fala hadama dingole nyanta fala Sénégal ni a jibe abattoirol men be Gambia man siya bari slota slab wala be am fadula wol siatale andum men marta wala mo Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency bari be am be fala dawoda veterinary officer nyanta lola jele wala mo inspection oti ne be am watle be fen dole jibe atle be yelo jibe la be am fata nyamen ila kuranga jata kenda to la nyanta ka jibe ani wa jibe fa pare nyanta ka subo nyi stample ni de lolita tata subo sanwala a jibe fo subo ni na stamta na stamta e balo na ko nyin inspector ya jibe
stam nyaadi da katare
ka stamp wule ngole ka wala stamp balo ni bar yada ko aman soto lolli sa isi hakil fula mira no jele wadi do nyata ko yafa adi abattoir e nyanta recito fanan dile be an jamabe je hani bi nyin somanda was talking to the director of Livestock Marketing Agency nkai ko mo jamabe seri be subu wa folla bande yalo ne ko wol man lansino soto
si
andum by right mo be je be subu wa fila e nyanta lansino soto from the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency ka testify ko ila mecholem ila jate kende ya dile bari moko bok bi Guinée moy bo Sénégal ala muro sa marché to ay na ni so sika lande abe subo wa fila ndum Gambia ka fani ko jama yapa subo wa fi ma yam tew ala
ya
wol nyanda tambe to the procedure e banko fana loi respect ani be subo wa fola fana manyana kala moti me alon ko ila balo dulal bebe noring hani this is why the agency fana have to come here subo wa fo mo business atodon mecholem ni ko kandaro mo mecholede julaya mo mecholede bari the processing wala mu monta subo sika ka topoto ka wafi wala fa mo mechoti men ko mayata bangi so mbe appeal fanan kela from the Livestock Marketing Agency mo me alon ko and to the police also because it only mo monti me alon ko itole ka luwani enforce ni atra ko mo be keri memma lansino soto from Jilma moda manyana ka
sai albe mo ne ke kam pour ka mol sensitize pour eta wota asike non te malong nga place o yele don ngata ni so sa nga fa ngana ti pour ka wa
isi kadia mo nyin ka fan de demande Gambian we have to change our attitude Mr. Bande hani parmasin dolbe yelere ne ka boro wa do you know that the lansino soto is the responsibility of the health sector ka jeko momo be boro wa you should have a lansing you should not hide and sell drug so people are hiding it men na da kasubo sang e nyanta jibela for the nying afari gistal famari because lansino nyanta ka ke santole at this ni fura dai baje la Gambia Livestock de lansino manyana ka mabuduma e ka ke santole mol saje yani dunta at the drugstore or any pharmacy e baje la ko is a lansing so ni dunta ja jibe afa ko ite la lansino you have right to ask bari mo jama be caring e ka sunyaro leke e tadula de kantin dingo pempen rek e subo sika ya kije kantino subo wa fidula anyanta check lale subo ñinga fata mintole fa fata abattoir because subu manyan naka wafi to the public nata manfa at the abattoir and livestock inspectors ila taranola dulal beto except at the abattoir so be jelle ka fa abattoir mo jelle ke la be ngo fa koma ena ya sambato di marsedo so hani VDC nyanti hakilo tula woto ni mo be wafi la ke la sate kono the VDC the community, they should know. Are you launching? If you are not, go and launching.
So, Mr. Ngala ko jang akumata because ngajele ko other regulatory bodies come FSQA sometime ikadu marse kono le ka jube expire full. So why not nying bunda miyal ko wole fana marta wala zin ko le ikadu marse kono ni rukol to ka jube ni man kay to so yela subo mu da apa
ni subo man stamp
ni man lazin so subo man lazin am stamp
I think
ni wakake wati
akafama kakele but there was a time they get reinforcement from the Gambia Police Gambia Livestock Marketing. So we cut around and yes, subosi bije mal lance ni ke basically yenate. But ni for the police station odo. Ni Gambia benyame wala nango change of attitude. Ibaja la ningela badi ngo muta you call up. Yaje. Anika mune call because ila badi ngo mang lance no sodo. Al lance no man share $1,000, $1,500. And sango be.
Sango be lo.
So for mo nyanta hanite you are paying tax.
Sure.
So how can somebody come from outside the Gambia? Ye murosa ibe subo wafila and you are not paying tax. So womu Gambia bela quality. Sate o sate ni mobeje even the VDC in coming for sate kono inyantalo na buse jelle bijam buse jumala man lansino so because jinma fanante ko beera if you look at the capacity of their elatodum ila dokulal and you look at the number of people just take the Costa Road how many people get lands in Amansia but how many people are selling meat so ni man ken to fa ka wule livestock owners nkatala neka izusoto anun kela subo basically ngata nga pack or sometimes we get reinforcement bari Jani de fananka subo sang or Jani be boro sana look at the place very well.
Okay, say and
then at least at the end of the day it will help.
And
then nimbe kumadola la jere wala mo collaboration odi. Collaboration is very good. In terms of farmer organization odi. Nata menaram is to advocate and support the livestock sector. Wayente samba like to the small ruminant project. Bale, do you know that Gambia livestock sector we never have a special project for livestock since 1965? Project on Mbekana agriculture, they are more of crop and rice.
So California, there is no funds dedicated to the livestock.
A canal for Nanata, they have a component of livestock or components no geotin in Kukoteng. But the small ruminant project is purely for livestock. But right now, small ruminant project is also the most adarajata bakele. If you look at the capacity at Menduno and the more demand livestock project wala is huge because anamanan soto it will find a challenge soto but here I'm coming advocate wolemu we need more project of livestock handi ni sumo rumen botaje ate sumo rumen wolem sajo ni bay wuda male keta but sisel nyanta keta la nin sol fana nyanta keta la because la min dula anu Gambia fana be doya kande Gambia the land kata ka nyamen our cattle trucks and is bringing conflict if you go to Mali you go to Nigeria Burkina people are fighting killing each other. So ni Gambia man laughing at water, livestock grazing area I bula beangol. Ka reserve I protect. But sometimes molka sila at the VDC level, at the village level, at the district level, at the regional level, even at the national level. People are closing their eyes. People are coming all the way from outside. Ikanaika banko besa
and encroach on the land.
And it dingo maso na beango for a mantata ganje. Sai mokote ina a bay fence about 200 by 300. Memma wulu Gambia. And you fula sabanani soto beangol be balulamento ite bide balulamento these are things me
allo tonya mandia
but we have to change the system.
So atal ba mune kekan towards that
ntola sembo be doala walale but it's a big I remember the presidential tour I meeting on sort of Bansang then Abasanya was the governor at Bansang. My speaking kaiko there is a need to have good livestock plant policy in this country, not even livestock but policy nyanda sotolale at the end of the day bajala ko government alon ko nyimbula tanye bare Gambia woteje just have your money be ikema ko do sodo just go to any area in this country you can buy what you want to buy and alkalol bastam la safol buy endosla physical plan batala not only for livestock but the attitude of the people need to change mafoko ko mo kana lan wafi but hani sate fanan they should have reserve because beangol menol be wasate kono they are from the village
but inatra satel meli alonko Inyantaka recreational dulal reserve for the youths. Youth center nyantata football field martial nyantata Wallman taraje yebe wafu yebe kuntum ni wakera. Walter Bayang space.
But Bayang is sensitive. It's a recreational center as no problem. But Bayang is grazing area neoma. This is what is bringing conflict. If conflict more in a country, you usual man feel also. Amansiad, honey. But Bayang man tambidla or their grazing area is changed to something. And now you ask that farmer to take care of your animal, he control. He control he want to use this animal to pass and go and drink. It's bring conflict sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
And usually every year, we have been going around to meet all the governors and chief. And then, we maintain peace and order in this country. Because Nalwa, we not only advocate, but in Kajaleko, Hani ni more sonkada, because Beangol be Wulokono, Kunkol be Wulokono, Nyantale Kanyo Mako Kajeko, there's peace and stability. Because ni water jam, Senote Mo Makwela, ni water jam for Gainako at a fence sotonola. But if we maintain peace and order, Ningela Fingotinya, Nia Fonya, Nima Fono Yamfu, at least I should also calm down. Because Beango Manke Forodi, it's just like Dindingol Benyame. Nia Buleka Balidaminda Katawola. But in coming advice na mola wole mokana mola fentinya akoye na fengotinya be pareka kuma jawo fana fa. It's not correct. In this country, if you have to maintain order, we have to tell truth to each other.
Exactly.
And then that will able to change. But ni womanke
kachanya ta sotolale
Ibrahima
senelal ni
molba trialale nga jibe kadum lole akumara be min fonga anyanta sotolale
kachanya ta ka sotole senelal tema ani milia lonko itol kanyin livestock fenkolke because ni one thing always conflict be sotolale because ni tema le nyante la beangol malian de la da wala nyanta dana dame ni dola firi fengol obviously so I think there is more room for improvement, and I think sensitization ni nyanta ka keep going
and the lonely ngalon time ota capacity building for farmer organization, ningo farmer organization asiatale dol beje ka manole sele dol beje ka findole sene dol beje ka kukotene sene dol beje ka livestock leke government ningo government wala ministry nyanta ka world support ke sensitize jama nim findira banta ngaje this French country ka menke la implica le control la jambi are still sleeping. Government are baking all. Government should able to use
because I time over but you can continue la kota inshallah.
Yes, we come to the end of the program. Ibrahim Barka Bake pour kana wati kamol fasa nyum programme auto foka pare fanan kamol karandi woto fenne me yalonko nara president obe soto mba fulale nyinna ma la president
ya muta bultandi fulola
al nyimuta mba fulale ala barka. Thank you very much for watching. Until we come your way tomorrow, have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
Opticalia is a leading European brand which is now in the Gambia. Are you looking for glasses? Then you have come to the right place. As a first step, we will perform an eye exam to ensure we prescribe the correct lenses for you. After that, you can select a frame of your choice. We have a variety of brands in stock, and you will definitely find yours. You can have the full package of frame plus lenses starting from $990 up to more for the most fashionable options. Once you find a frame you like, your lenses will immediately be edged by our lab technician. Within 30 minutes, you will be able to leave with your prescription glasses and a huge smile on your face. How amazing is that? Visit us at the Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day of the week, or call us on 503-4411 or 7767-123.